Hello, Wren here with another video that I'm producing for YouTube. If some of you, my subscribers anyhow, know me for trail cam pictures. But since I'm retired now, I have all this storage of videos and still pictures that I want to produce on YouTube. So here's the story of my white doves that I had in my condo patio in late 2013. So I wanted to get started by just sharing a little bit of some of my experiences and then some pictures of the doves that I had. I started out with 2 doves, and then I was so excited about it I went back and bought 2 more pair. And you will notice that I have 6 obviously now, and you'll notice that blue cage. It's a small wire cage that I bought to keep them in. But I soon realized that I'm not going to be able to keep them in there. And so what you see is this gray frame coop for the pigeons that I will be working on over the next several weeks, in which you will find them in there on my later pictures. Here you will notice now that my coop is all screened in. Now, as you will notice, this is only half of it. I always began to think about bigger and better things and more room, and so this picture is only about the screen that was around them. And then I decided to make kind of a little more of a run for them, or a little bit of a flight cage. Not much of a flight cage, but I added on to it, and you'll notice that later on. Now these are white doves. These are not homing white pigeons. These are just those white doves related to mourning doves that you see in the wild. And they're kind of a dumb bird, but they do make good pets. If you take the time, you can tame them. I did not have a lot of luck creating a very, very tame pigeon, although I would have them in the house, and you'll see that later. So we're going to move on here to the next frame here. Here it looks like they're all huddled together and a little bit puffed up, which is what they did when it was a little bit cool. I did cover them up with a sheet at night when it was like cold. Here we have probably one of my favorites that I would take in the house from time to time, just trying to play with this dove and to see if I could tame it down. She was somewhat tame, the tamest one that I had, but it's not that I could handle her like a magician does, which these are the doves that magicians use. And here you'll notice I have added to the cage now where they can get out into the sun a little bit more. And I did a bunch of experimenting about how to keep the cage clean and to gather some of the feed that they would drop through. So I had this little space underneath there that I would put a tray in. And I kept modifying that over time to where I could clean it. I had to also modify their feeders, get new feeders in order for them to not waste as much. So that's one of the things that you will learn over time as you raise these pigeons. Actually, I should say dove, my mistake. This clip you will see my group of 6 actually inside the house. I thought I'd try to see about keeping them in overnight, but they do crap all over the floor, and they do that at night, so there's stuff to clean up in the morning. And that was just kind of a little experiment, just playing with them. And what you're going to notice here is that I added a screen on the inside of this chicken wire, and the reason for that is when they were molting or shedding, their feathers would be all over my patio that I had to clean, and that was quite a mess to try to get that clean. It's not like I had an outside pigeon coop that didn't matter so much, but it just left a lot of cleaning for me. So one of the things that I did was kept coming up with new ideas how to contain their droppings, how to contain their feathers, and make it a lot easier for me for cleaning. I also designed the cages in such a way that the droppings would not land on flat surfaces. I didn't always manage to do that, but I did try to concentrate on that, so everything would drop down through the wires and into my catch baskets, which I could then pull out and clean. I also used a variety of perches, from closet rods to natural wood, and they did like the natural wood. It was a little smaller, and so I just did a lot of fun things with them and tried to change things up. And these are the nest boxes that I like to use. They were just throwaway cardboard, and then I would just throw them away when they got really dirty and messy. And I also used pine needles in there, and that seemed to work pretty well. Here we see a young dove being fed. This is one of my first doves that was hatched out from my first pair, and so that was kind of exciting to see, and it was a new experience for me actually filming this while they were doing that, and it was interesting to see that. And so I'm going to close here with a video of that dove being fed. All in all, I managed to come up with 14 birds after starting with 6. And it began to get a bit much. A lot of birds there on that area, and also wondering where the condo association would soon put an end to this, but I never did hear from them. So now I will conclude this video by letting you watch this video of this young one being fed, and I will try to add some more videos coming up with these doves, and maybe tell a few more stories. Okay, here we are. Finally get the picture of this baby feeding. Oh my gosh. Look at those big eyes. Is there something wrong with it? I guess not, but just big eyes. Wow. And then here's the new neighbor. And there, since they're fighting, I put in another box. And there's the other buddies. So, wow. That is interesting. Are you getting enough to eat there? So that concludes this edition of my white doves. It was an experience I will never forget. See you next time.